There are two big obvious players in the mountain bike drivetrain market, but now we have another option. This is coming out of Southern California. This is Box Components and their one drivetrain. We've got a shifter, a rear mech and a cassette. I've bolted it to my bike. I'm going to take it for a spin and see how it differs from the rest. So if you haven't heard of Box Components before, they have actually been around for a few years building BMX components. If you're an old schooler like me, you may have heard of Toby Henderson, who's a BMX racer turned downhill racer, and he's part of the crew there at Box. So there's definitely some heritage there. They also sponsor the Polygon UR team, so Tracy, Hannah, Mick, Hannah and Sam Reynolds. So first impressions, actually it's taken me just a few goes to get used to this shifter. Definitely feels a little bit different to the other brands, but totally normal. But let's give it a proper ride. So let's take a look at this Box One 11-speed rear derailleur. You've got the alloy cage and these big jockey wheels. They've also got seal bearings inside there, so it keeps all that friction down. And here you've got a carbon fibre and nylon composite body. Inside there you've got a clutch like much of the other rear mechs on the market today. This one is actually called the cam clutch. So as the jockey cage moves further, it actually puts more tension onto the chain. I actually think that's a nice touch because some rear mechs you can adjust that tension, and if you put too much tension on there, it can actually make your shifts feel really stiff up on your shifter, but also it can take away some of that small bump sensitivity of the suspension, as it's actually restricting the suspension movement a little bit. So this works really nicely. It's quite supple to begin with and adds more tension on those bigger hits just to keep that chain nicely on that front chainring. So another interesting feature about this Box One rear derailleur is this pivot tech at the back. So where your cable housing comes into the rear mech, that's on a spring-loaded pivot. So in the case of any side or rear impacts, that just bends up and out of the way, and hopefully that's going to give you a bit more protection on those impacts. So the rear mech only comes in one cage size. As you can see, it's quite long, and that is to deal with a big 1x11 range. And this is actually a Box Components cassette as well. So this is an 1146 big wide range cassette that we like to see on these 11-speed systems. The sprockets are made from aluminium and steel, and it fits onto either a Box hub or a Shimano. So there's definitely a couple of features on this rear mech that I've not seen before, but the most innovative part of this whole drivetrain is the shifter. So what is so special about this Box One shifter? Well, the first thing you might notice is it's just got one lever. So to go to your lower gears as normal, you just push that lever towards the front of the bike like most other shifters out there. But now the special part of this is to go back down the cassette to your higher gears, you actually push that shifter in towards the stem. So that's quite a nice little touch. Might take a little bit of getting used to if you've never used one of these before. You've got a barrel adjuster like any other shifter out there. A nice little touch is you've got a bit of adjustment, so to get that lever in the perfect position to make it really useful to get to, you've got 10mm left or right on that clamp. Another nice feature of this shifter is it's really easy to take apart and work on. You've got 2 bolts holding on that lever and then 4 holding on that casing, and then all the inner workings come apart really easily. So you can degrease them, clean them up, re-lube them and get them back in there without them all splitting into 100 pieces. Granted, that might be a job you only need to do once a year, but it's nice that it's so easy. So there we go, first ride on the Box Components drivetrain. I've got to say the shifting is really crisp, it's really quick, it's everything you really expect out of a proper modern gear system really. It's really easy to set up just bolt the Mack on, set your limit screws as normal. Just like all wide range cassettes, I think you've got to play around with that B tension screw a little bit just to get that Mack far enough away from the cassette to work properly. I like the fact you can move the shifter around left and right a little bit, and I've got to say after about 2 minutes I really got used to that system of pushing it that way to go down the block. If you can't get used to that, it is cross compatible as well with Shimano, so you can put a Shimano shifter on here or vice versa. You could also use this shifter with a Shimano rear Mack. So it's nice to see them, really plan that in, that cross compatibility. More than anything, it's actually really cool to see another manufacturer step up. Obviously the two big players make so many millions of drivetrains and gears for things like touring bikes, kids bikes, road bikes. It's pretty cool to see box components step up to the highest level in mountain bikes, and like a lot of us, we like to be a bit individual. It's great to have another choice. If you click on this GMBN logo here, that means you'll subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. And to see more videos like this, click up there for how to change your gear cable, and click just down there for how to fix your chain. Give us a thumbs up if you found this video interesting.